Well, it's been about a year since I first opened that door for YouTube. I'm gonna do a little kind of retrospective look back from where we started to where we are now, kind of thing here. Even though sometimes looking back can be cringeworthy, it's not bad when you can also realize progress has been made. And I'll admit that the place still is kind of cluttery. But, you know, we live on a small lot. It's like an eighth of an acre. It's easy to clutter things up. But honestly, it feels good to look around and realize that a lot of progress has been made. A lot of changes happened. But there's all different kinds of change. Like, we lost one of our chickens this year, Little Red, the little naked neck there. She passed away. As did Daphne. They were about the same age, too, which is about 6 or 7, I want to say. Bosco's still here. Yeah, he's such a good rabbit. I spend extra time with him now that Daphne's passed. There's many more things I could show you around the house, but there's also more interesting things that's happened outside of this house this past year. And for me, it really started more than a year ago. It was probably like May of 2020 when the roller coaster kind of took off. The city suffered from a massive flood due to a series of dam failures. Me and some of the crew were called in to clean things up and salvage what we could for the Midland Historical Society. It was a lot of work, many hours, and I don't even remember how many weeks it lasted. But as bad as things were here in Midland, not far from here, a little town called Sanford, it was just devastating what happened out there. The dam kind of sat at the foot of the town, and when it gave way, it just shot the torrent right just through Main Street. Walking about, the devastation was just absolutely surreal. So, not long after the flood craziness, I was asked if I wanted to work at this old church that was turned into an art gallery / creative space. Of course, I said yes, and did everything there from set up the tables and chairs to sweep the floor, take out the trash, and did tech, even though I didn't really know anything about tech at the time. So I had to learn a lot of things on the fly, and I was kind of scared a lot of the times, to be honest. But what was really cool is they also took care of this place called the John Pratt House. I'll leave a link to another YouTube thing about it. It's a neat place. I was asked to clean up the outside, but more excitingly for me, I was asked to also clean out the inside. I don't think anybody's really been inside this house other than like maybe 1 or 2 other people for decades. And it wasn't long until I realized why not many people come in this house. The one half is on a floating foundation, and the floor is just on the edge of collapse. And I feel that when it goes, that'll also take the ceiling down with it. So it's an incredibly dangerous place. Started collecting some of my own equipment and was using it at the Creative 360. And was learning how to run stuff pretty good, I have to say. I was really lucky to have worked there and worked together with the people there. And I have to admit, I miss that job a lot. While working at the Creative 360, I was still brought in from time to time at my old employer to run cameras for these live performances, quote unquote, because this was at the peak of COVID, so this was all online. But I was very lucky because I was one of the very few people in entertainment around still working in my field, and I got to experience true live entertainment. And I got to work the dance season, which I had never done before, and I tell you what, it was something. It's just a beautiful art form. In the summer, they built a stage outside, and when you have a stage, you got to build a set. When you got a set, it's time to put on a play. It was Grease, and I was one of the stagehands moving set pieces. It was a lot of fun. The next play, my wife was involved. She was a spot operator. Me, I was reluctantly pulled into Sound World. This was way beyond my scope of technology knowledge. But luckily I was just asked to be the assistant because I don't know any of this stuff. I just brought out the racks and cables, and people much smarter than myself put it all together. But with all the stuff that we had to assist to set up, we also had to take down. including the spot tower that Marie was on. There was River Days in the summer as well, and Balloon Fest, which was actually ran by my boss's personal company. And he also does sporting events, which he pulled me into as well. And those were also a lot of fun, even though I'll admit I'm not very much of a sports person. I also found time for house projects, things I knew that were kind of important for things I wanted to do for an overall bigger project I've been working on, but we'll figure that out more in the future episodes here. So, when looking back, I wanted to get even more reminiscent and started pulling up some of my older adventures. I had hiked across Michigan when I was 21. I did that solo. I've also canoed probably over 2,000 rivers, mostly half that, with my wife and her brother and sister-in-law. And looking back, I really couldn't find a lot of those photos. And it was kind of disappointing, and it made me realize actually the greatness about YouTube, actually. It isn't so much about becoming YouTube famous with all these subscribers, though please do subscribe, and all this. It's more about being able to preserve your memories in a way that's not only shouldn't be just for others really, but for you and yours more immediately. And if others want to come along for the ride and see the life you live, well, that's fantastic. Please do. Because I know at least me, I kind of do things a different way.